Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome, everyone. Welcome to Women Who Really Rock. I'm your host, Carmen Milagro. Women Who Really Rock is designed to showcase women and artists and boo-boo bears and the other people supporting them who are doing incredible work all around the world. Our show is available on the International Divas That Care Network, and you'll find us on the www.divasthatcare.com website. Joining me today on Women Who Really Rock is an entrepreneur, philanthropist, mentor, international award-winning author. She's also co-founder of Santa Cruz Children's Charities, an organization dedicated to improving the lives of children locally and globally. She's also a keynote speaker, and she's known as a champion for children all over the world. But I would venture to say that one of her greatest roles, besides being a mother, is as creator of Boo Boo Bears and their international anti-bullying campaign message. My guest name is Anita Telle. Welcome to Women Who Really Rock, Anita, and thank you so much for being our guest today.
Well, thank you for having me on. I'm super excited.
Me too. I want us to start, right into this with our listeners. You're a writer, author, storyteller. You grew up in Norway, and you said that storytelling is a part of your culture and your heritage. And I can't help but wonder, like many of us, were you yourself also bullied as a child or even as an adult? Because we know that it happens in the adulting world too.
I was bullied as a child because I was very tall compared to everybody else. I grew really tall, really quick, and so I was tall and skinny, and so I got to hear that pretty much daily.
Right.
But the time that I really started focusing on bullying, because back then we didn't really call it bullying, and also I grew up in a different country, but.
Sure.
When I really discovered it was, when I adopted my son Brandon, and he was born with a cleft palate and a cleft lip, and he was different, and so that's when I kind of was looking at it, going, "Wow, this really is pretty bad." And so, as a mom, I said to myself, "What can I do to help my little boy?" And it was kind of my love for my son that made me, start writing books that addressed different social issues.
Right. Absolutely. Sometimes it's out of pain or that sense of frustration of wanting to change something that we come up with our ideas and our inspirations. And I know that you wrote the Ultimate Anti-Bullying Solutions Guide, the surefire way to stop bullying now. And you feature Boo Boo Bears. Where did that part of your inspiration come from to create Boo Boo Bears?
It was quite interesting because my son, being born with a cleft palate and a cleft lip, he had pretty much constantly ear infections, and so I would put rice in a sock and put it in a micro for like 35-40 seconds, and it had this nice, beautiful, moist heat, and I put it on his ear. And then he would start, taking it and putting it on his chest, and it made him sleep better. And so then I said, it's a sock. And so then I, came up with this idea of a little bear, but I wasn't really. I didn't want it to be only about a bear. I wanted it to be a storyteller because, like you said in your intro, storytelling is a very big part of who I am, and also growing up in Norway. And so one of the characters or creatures or whatever you want to call them in Norway, in our folklore, we have all these what we call nissa, and they are these short little kind of Nomi-looking things. And so I called him Nomi, and he was the storyteller that kind of told the stories of the Boo Boo Bears travels, and trying to make it into bringing up issues that children and parents had, things that they wanted to express and talk to maybe younger children about. And so I started writing these books, and what happened and how I got to my fourth book that you just that you just mentioned was that after I won the San Francisco Book Festival and several other awards for my books. I had parents ask me. They said, "Well, we know that your son was bullied, but he seems so confident. Why is he so confident?" And so I said, "Well, it's because of the way I'm raising him." And they said, "Well, can you tell us? Can you teach us? Why don't you write a book for us?" So that's how that book there came to fruition.
So you created this method, like this methodology, a step-by-step, right, that parents and teachers can use to, is it identification of a bully? Can you dive in a little bit deeper what the guide is showing parents and teachers to do?
Yes. So pretty much what I would do with my son when this came to fruition, and he was quite young at the time. I came up with this idea in my head, and I called it a bully shield. And that was something that I developed with my son, and I told him, it's a pretend shield, Brandon. And I said, you can decide what you take in, but the bully shield, and you can turn it into whatever you want to be, in the colors of the rainbows or the colors of the sky, whatever, or whatever it is. But is this thing that is a shield. So when the words come, you allow it to hit the shield, and it doesn't go to your heart. And so these are things that I did with my son, all kinds of things that I did with my son to make sure that he understood that this wasn't about him. This was about the person that was bullying. And so then when I wrote the book, with to explain to parents about these are some of the warning signs that you look for, like the child coming home, they automatically run to their room, they don't want to socialize. Things they used to be very fond of, they don't like doing anymore. Their backpack has a rip in it. Just all kinds of signals. So I started writing like the signals down. Then I started writing down, things that parents can do, like, like work with their child, and also do kind of, play in a way where maybe the mom or the dad or or an aunt, uncle, whoever is there with the child, where they kind of pretend to be the bully and say some of the things that this child hears when he goes to school, and then give the child an opportunity to say things back, and then they work together, they role play to get to a place where the child is in a place where when this happens again, he, like my son did, he put up his hand and he said, "I'm not, this is not mine to take on, and I'm not dealing with this," and he would walk away.
Right. That's incredible. I mean, I think what I'm hearing you say is this, what I got out of what you just described is one important difference. I've done a lot of work with children as well through music, and I have seen how cruel another child could be to someone else. But one of the things that I think that you and I have in common is we would incorporate the children in creating the solution for themselves. And
Absolutely.
that to me is such an empowerment moment when a child gets to have say in the solution, as opposed to just being told what to do. They're helping you create what they need. And I think that also is such a component that is so instrumental for the well-being of your child or a child that you're working with. So congratulations to you, because I think a lot of times, and I don't know if you've seen this as well, but a lot of times I would see adults, parents and teachers and principals, they would tell the child what to do, how to react, instead of asking what worked for them.
Absolutely. And and what's really interesting, I'm just going to take a few minutes to tell a story that was quite an eye-opener for me. I went to it was a Montessori school, and I was sitting in this chair, and I had all the little kids sitting around me, and so I started reading my book, A Little Different, All Perfect, And I came to that place where I was talking about be sensitive to the words that we use and pay attention to
Mhm.
others and all these things. And this little boy, he could not be more than 4 years old, and he was getting closer and closer to me as the story evolved. And he said to me, he goes, "I never knew my words could hurt."
Oh,
And it was such an eye opener to me, and so that's why I really promote education and talking about the subject. But I don't want to get on this bandwagon where this everything is like bully, 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 and and the children just hears all these words constantly, and there is no solutions,
right.
and there is no power. They have the right to be who they are. They have the right to have the power, and they have the right to understand what it means to to be assertive, to say no. No is also an
Right.
answer, and
Mhm.
to be allowed without of course with the help of parents. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying they need to be part of it. They need to be
Yes.
allowed to express themselves, and also when they feel really embarrassed, or they feel that this situation needs to be dealt with differently, and the parent is pushing for, well, we're going to go and talk to that, and they're very assertive and really kind of angry, and it comes from a very different place. This child is still going to have to go to this school. There's other ways
Right.
of doing it, and those are some of the things that I have in my book, and I also put in my book because I know that at times it can be difficult for parents to know exactly what to write and what to say,
Mhm.
and when they're dealing with these issues. So all the way in the back of my book I had all kinds of examples and kind of
Mhm.
templates for people to be able to use for solutions and for suggesting things, and to say, hey, here is what's happening to my child, and we have talked about this, and communicating maybe with the family of the that has the child that is a bully, and so there's all kinds of other things that's in the book that's describe other ways of doing it than just stepping over the child and taking complete control.
Right. No, absolutely. And I think that's so incredible that you're able to give that perspective. You really have created a guide book for how to do this. And it seems to me that this book number 4 is really a tool, a solutions oriented tool for parents and teachers. If I had my way, every school, classroom, everyone would have something like this, your book, as part of their curriculum. For adults to have this in their arsenal, I think is incredible because, like you said, it's not just about the child who's being bullied. It's the community around this child, what to do and how to do it, and that they have options. I think that's incredible. I
Absolutely.
know I know that your Boo Boo Bears, because they seem to be sort of the central, like core, cute, functioning part of this entire system that you've created. But it seems like you've started a movement. Can you share? I know what they're doing, but can you share with our listeners how these adorable but mighty little messengers are spreading your anti-bullying message all around the world? How is that
You
happening?
Yeah, it's actually it's very exciting, and one thing that I want to share with you is that I had
Hmm.
a person contact me last year, and this person said, "I really love what you're doing. I love
Yeah.
the messages that these little ambassadors of kindness is sending all over the world, and I want to sponsor you." So this person told me, "Start up a nonprofit, and I will sponsor you so we can get your message across the world all over." And the interesting, so that was absolutely a blessing. It was,
Of
just such a
course.
beautiful gift. Yeah. And so then what happened is I came to the United States, so I come to this country with different experiences from my childhood, different ways we
Hmm.
do things, different ways we live our life. And so
Right.
to me, I wanted to share that, and I wanted to hear from someone that maybe you know came from Australia, from Kenya, from Japan, from from Europe, wherever. And so here are their
Mhm.
stories. And so my whole thing was like, well, let's celebrate that we're different. Let's let's
Right.
share these exciting things that we grew up with and we learned. And so then and this idea came to me. Well, my Boo Boo Bear is international. My Boo Boo Bear loves everybody. It doesn't matter,
Yes.
size, shape, color, whatever. He loves everybody,
Right.
and he likes to travel and learn. And he likes to
Mhm.
learn, and he likes to bring it back, and he likes to tell me, who's, kind of like the mama bear,
Uh-huh.
about these things. So then I'm involved with an international entrepreneur group, and there's people from all over the world. Like, last event that I went to, I think there was like 71 countries, and so I make an effort to talk to people, and it's kind of interesting, when you have a love for something and a passion for something, it seems like you attract the same kind of people around you. And
Exactly.
so I've kind of been
100%.
very blessed with a lot of people that has wanted to help me, and so they take my little bear, and when they go to different countries, they bring my message of kindness, love, acceptance, and no bullying to all these different countries. And then, what we do is, I put together, we put together these little postcards, and then we share the postcards on our Facebook page, and we're going to be sharing them on our nonprofit page too, our website, and so the kids can go in and say, "Hey, Mom, here is something from Malaysia. I like that. Look at that.
Mhm.
Look at that. Look at that. Whatever." And then Mom says, "Oh, well, let's go and read about Malaysia. Let's learn about that." And so my
Right.
goal, a little bit further down, is to be
Mhm.
able to really educate all the children on the travels of the Boo Boo Bear, where he teaches kindness, love, acceptance, self-worth, and no bullying. And to have our children, there is no borders. There is no, we are just all together as one. And so that's what I'm looking for with my Boo Boo Bear. He travels all over.
Right. That's quite a feat and that's quite a goal. But if anyone can accomplish this, I know it'll be you. I have no
Well, thank
doubt
you.
because you're already doing it, and it seems to me, we're on the Divas That Care network, which is a Canadian platform, which is international and global. So during this podcast, I would love to, for you to what can the international community do more of to help you grow this campaign with your Boo Boo Bears? What can our listeners do if they're interested? Where do they go? How can they learn more about what your books are all about? And what can they do?
So, well, I'm always looking for travelers, world travelers that would, that doesn't mind having, a little companion that's about,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, 5, 6 inches tall, you know,
Uh-huh.
and goes with them, and because it's just part of education. But they can contact me, and they can go to anitatelle.com, and they can get all my information there. That's ANITATELLE.com. Or within the next week and a half, my nonprofit website is going to be up and running, and that's a little different .org.
A little different.org. Okay. That's so
I'm sorry,
exciting
you
that
know
it's
what I
just
just did? It's a little
what?
different allperfect.org, of course. It's the name of my book. See, it's
Of
so
course.
new.
Okay. Right? That is fantastic. So for more information, everyone can go to these websites that you've just shared with us. And what else can people do? You are a nonprofit after all. So what else can people do to help you on your mission?
Well, I'm always looking for volunteers. So what would happen with that is I would send, if anyone would, you know, commit to go into schools. Normally, the age group is between 4 and 9 years old. That's where I read my books mostly to. They will get a set of the books, and with the understanding that I interview them and talk to them and make sure that they will do something and go and teach the message. And then also,
Right.
of course, it is a nonprofit, so you can donate, and there will be all kinds of things that we need as far as volunteers that can help out with all kinds of things. Some of them being, maybe talking to, to children that or parents that, want to know more about, what this is all about and understand what we stand for. And so, there's all kinds of things that we're going to come up with. But the nonprofit is very new to me. But I'd love to get some help and contact me. That would be wonderful.
Absolutely. And tell us again what your website is for the nonprofit.
The nonprofit is a little different, allperfect.org. And then AnitaTelle.com is just pretty much my website.
Great. Anita, thank you. I hate to wrap this up because I think that there's the work that you're doing is so incredible. But hopefully, I hope that once you're up and running with your website and the nonprofit is a little bit more mature, maybe we can have you come back with a follow-up, and we can talk about it in 2020 and see where you are and where else the Boo Boo Bears have been. I would love for you to come back if you don't mind.
I would love to.
Great. Thank you. I know that you're really busy too, like everyone, so thank you for spending, these few minutes with us. They're so important. The work that you're doing is so incredible. You're a woman who really rocks, and you're literally eliminating bullies one by one, just like a superhero. So thank you for being that superhero, for the work that you do, for all children all over the world. It's a huge feat, and we need 100 million more Anitas in the world. So thank you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you. And thank you all for tuning into our Women Who Really Rock podcast. We want to be able to uplift and inspire you while we showcase other women and other people that are doing good works of kindness throughout the globe. And in this case, it's being done through a little kindness ambassador called the Boo Boo Bear. Until next time, I hope you're really rocking it too. And remember, you can find us here on the Divas That Care Network, because we do care. And the website is www.divasthatcare.com. Thank you, everyone, and have a great day. Thank you, Anita.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.